What's up, YouTube? Back at you with another video, another quick take. I got my main man, my partner, my brother here.
And if you don't know, now you know. The Prince of Fresh Air, the most charismatic man. Thanks for having me again, bro.
Yes. So we've got an article courtesy of people.com which says Jonah Hill's ex, Sarah Brady, claims he was emotionally abusive and that it's been a year of healing. The article goes on to say that his ex, Sarah Brady, is speaking out about their relationship and alleging that the actor was emotionally abusive during their time together. In a series of Instagram story posts made between Friday and Saturday, the surf instructor shared multiple screenshots of various alleged text message exchanges between herself and the 39-year-old actor. This is a warning to all girls, she said. If your partner is talking to you like this, make an exit plan. Call me if you need an ear, Brady wrote, showing text messages allegedly from Hill asking her to take down any surfing photos from her Instagram with her ass in a thong. After Brady said that she deleted all the posts, the Superbad star allegedly told her it was a good start, but she didn't seem to get his point. But he said, "It's not my place to teach you. I've made my boundaries clear," he reportedly wrote. He said, "You refuse to let go of some of them, and you've made that clear, and I hope it makes you happy." In another screenshot, Brady shared a text message exchange allegedly between the former couple in which Hill reportedly said that if Brady wants to surf with men, to model, to post pictures of yourself in a bathing suit, and to post sexual pictures, among other things, that he's not the right partner for her. And I just want to just add her last comments on it, and then I'm gonna read his text message verbatim. So she said, "I too struggle with mental health, but I do not use it to control people like he did to me." She said, "It's been a year of healing and growth with the help of loved ones and doctors to get back to living my life without guilt, shame, and self-judgment for things as small as surfing in a swimsuit rather than a more conservative wetsuit. And I'm sure there's still much more healing from this abuse ahead of me." Now, she posted the text message in question, and this is all the way from December of 2021. But anyway, so he said, plain and simple, if you need surfing with men, boundaryless, inappropriate friendships with men, to model, to post pictures of yourself in a bathing suit, to post sexual pictures, friendships with women who are in unstable places, and from your wild recent past beyond getting a lunch or coffee or something respectful, I am not the right partner for you. If these things bring you to a place of happiness, I support it, and there will be no hard feelings. These are my boundaries for romantic partnerships. My boundaries with you are based on the ways these actions have hurt our trust. Now, I'm going to be honest, I don't really understand what's going on and like what's the source of like the debate that I've seen on Twitter. So, bro, what are your thoughts on this, man?
Let me tell this is just one of those things where on the heel of Kiki Palmer, her boyfriend, people are just always criticizing. This goes back to I'm gonna just skip that part. This goes back to something we talked about, men not being respected. When men have boundaries and express their concerns, we're called controlling, demanding. You're trying to hold women back, but when women do it, it's fine. It's upheld. This is just a situation of a man, Jonah Hill. I don't know him personally, and I will always advocate that if we don't know what's going on inside the bedroom, we can't 100% speak on the fact. But based off what I saw and read, basically, here's what I feel. I feel like him and his girlfriend dated for about, I think, a year and a half, 2 years tops. He moved on quickly. I believe he's currently engaged to his fiance, and they just had a child not too long ago. And all these accusations came out right after that, the fact. And this is one of those cases where people are just throwing around the world abuse. As we've seen with Johnny Depp and Amber Walker, it goes to show that men can be abused, and people are just using the word abuse and all this stuff to cause a reaction, to cause a panic, and men are usually demonified. So basically, I don't know who this guy is, but some viral sensation by the name of Jeff Gaunter broke down some of the text messages that she posted that Jonah Hill sent, which first of all is an invasion of privacy. She's just throwing all types of personal messages between them on social media. Sounds like an Amber Heard thing. But basically, what he said was Jonah's use of the term boundaries in this message is the misuse of the concept. A boundary is a healthy limit a person sets for themselves to protect their well being and integrity. It is a rule or guideline that one creates to identify reasonable, safe, and permissible ways for others to behave towards them and how they'll respond when someone passes the limits. Jonah Hill was using therapy speak to control his girlfriend Sarah, his now ex-girlfriend, and then it's important that we go over the misuse of therapy language, which is kind of a thing these days, and how it can be super problematic as it masks controlling behavior under commonly accepted positive conception. In this case, boundaries. And then he goes on and on and on that in his text messages, he's not setting boundaries, but he's dictating what behaviors and friendships Sarah is permitted to have. Part of the list, she posted that he wrote her, plain and simple. This one of the text said, plain and simple. If you need surfing with men,
Yeah, that's
boundaryless.
what I read. Yeah, that's what I read. I read that
Yeah.
earlier. Yeah.
I don't see nothing wrong with that. I feel like, we were talking about when we talk about the Kiki Palmer and her boyfriend situation.
Mm-hmm.
Boundaries is a big thing. Now everybody has different boundaries.
Right.
I don't check me, Natalie, for instance, I don't check her social media. I don't check her phone. I let her do whatever she wants. I don't tell her what to wear. Now other people, I know a lot of people who monitor their partner's social media. I mean, how many actors we heard of, turning down gigs because they didn't want their wife or husband to feel uncomfortable with them doing intimate scenes for a movie. It happens. Everybody's boundaries is different. And I don't see how any of this is emotional abuse. Again, we're living in a society now where everybody's trying to be offended and using, these type of terms to demonize people. I don't know Jonah Hill. I don't know what he's like in his personal life. So I'm not going to say 100% he's innocent. But what I am going to say was, based off these texts, what is she trying to prove here? I don't see anything where he's threatening to slap her. I don't see him threatening to hurt her. He's just plainly saying these are my boundaries. She probably crossed some of those boundaries before, and he's just reiterating them through text.
Mm-hmm.
This is just a case of a girl who's probably spiteful that he moved on quickly, got another girl pregnant, engaged, and she's probably mad because she probably wanted that for herself.
Right. Right.
Now, is that 100% true? I don't know. But again, it's why come out with emotional abuse as soon as he has a child? I mean, it
Yeah.
just reeks of hurtness.
Well, I mean, she said that sharing this publicly now because keeping it to myself was causing more damage to my mental health than
That's
sharing it
crap.
could ever do.
That's crap.
Now, I mean, I look at it this way, um, because everybody's saying that, oh, if you're a man and you agree with Jonah Hill, then that makes you a misogynist. That makes you an enabler. You support, controlling behaviors and this sort of thing. Now, I look at it like this, man. I think she should relish the fact if this is how she truly feels, she should relish in the fact that Jonah Hill is no longer in her life anymore. So if this man was marginalizing your life, impeding your happiness, telling you what you can and cannot do, emotionally abusing you, this, that, and the third, then you should be happy that he's not in your life and that whatever he was doing to you, he may or may not be doing it to somebody else. But as long as he's not doing it to you anymore, that's all you should really care about. Now, in my opinion, some of the things that he said, all right. So she's a professional surfer, I'm guessing, right? So she's a surfing instructor. And
Right.
he says, if you need surfing with men, I mean, that's her job. So if I'm dating a surfing instructor and she was doing this before me, I can't come and start dating her and then telling her, don't surf for men anymore, only teach women. I can't do that. And that stems, from the Kiki Palmer thing where I can't get with Kiki Palmer and tell her not to do what, female public figures do in 2023. I can't tell her to do that. So that one I don't agree with. Now, he says boundaryless, inappropriate friendships with men. I don't have context as far as what he means by that. But let's say if, for instance, she's got another guy sleeping at her house. She's talking to another guy at 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning when she's got a boyfriend. They hang out more. She hangs out more with her guy friends or just as much with her guy friends as she does with him. Any man would be uncomfortable with that. We don't have context, but I got to run with that. You know what I'm saying? I don't think a woman would want her boyfriend to have a boundaryless, inappropriate relationship with another woman. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? That's like, me. That's like if, let's say, how would you feel if, your girl was hanging out with me? We're going out, drinking and doing stuff like that. And you're like, hey, where are you? She's like, oh, I'm at Dimitri's house. And then you look at the time, it's 12:30, at midnight, going at 1 o'clock in the morning. You wouldn't be wrong if you were to tell her, like, yo, what are you doing at his house? That's boundaryless. You know what I'm saying? Like, where are the boundaries in that, friendship or relationship? So he's not wrong for that. It's like everybody, needs context, and everybody on the outside looking in, we don't have context. So I'm only really just
Exactly.
taking what he's saying, and I'm just kind of coloring it with what I think he means by that. So
Eh,
he's not wrong for that. Now he's talking about to model. I haven't looked at Sarah Brady's Instagram to really know what he means by that. But my thing is this: if she was modeling or showing herself off in a certain way before you got to accept that she's going to be doing that during and after you. You see what I'm saying? Then he says to post pictures of yourself in a bathing suit. Now, look, this was sent to her December 2nd, 2021 at 6:46 p.m. Now, he should have been saying this from day one. From day one. This is
but
what I said about Darius, whatever his last name is, Keke Palmer's boyfriend. When I meet somebody, and usually based off of her social media and like my conversations with her, I'll get a good gauge as far as who she is, what she's about, and what kind of lane I'm going to put her in. So whether I could actually be with her or she's somebody that I could just hang out with and stuff like that based off of the values and morals that she has. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
let's say, and I'll mention like, oh, like, so what's your thoughts on, you know, um, women having friendships with men? What are your thoughts on, posting half naked pictures? Like, these are conversations that you just have when you first meet them. So that way, if she says, "Oh, well, I don't have a problem with a man sleeping over my house every day. I don't have a problem with holding hands with my guy best friend. I don't have a problem with me hanging out with my guy best friend more than my boyfriend. You know what I'm saying? I don't have a problem with me posting myself, in bikinis and one piece thongs and sticking my tongue out on freaking Instagram. If she's telling me that on day one, day two, then I already know I have to put her in a certain lane. Because if I take her serious and we start dating down the line, then it's going to be a headache for me and her because our values and our morals do not align. So I'll say it's not only Jonah Hill who's at fault, because again, she was not for you. Clearly, if I have to tell you that down the line, you're clearly not for me. I think
Right.
there's just certain conversations that you shouldn't be having when you're 39 years old. You see what I'm saying? Jonah Hill is
Yeah.
39 years old. You shouldn't be going through this. You should already have enough experience underneath your belt at that age for you to say, yo, I'm already going to vet her mind and her, mindsets and all of that from day one. So my business is not being put on Front Street freaking 2 years from now. I shouldn't even have to tell you that at that point. And then once I already start to see, okay, and it's not that she's a bad person if she wants to do those things, it is just not for me. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, most definitely.
It says
And let me say,
friendships. Hold on, I'm just gonna say. I'm just gonna
yeah,
say
yeah, yeah,
one
go,
more
go.
thing about his text. I really want to dissect that. He also said friendships with women who are in unstable places and from your wild recent past beyond getting a lunch. All right. See, this is why, and I'm just holding Jonah Hill accountable. Mind you, I like Jonah Hill. I've seen, a few of his films. I think he's a great guy, but I'm just putting myself in his shoes. If I see that a chick has had a wild recent past, and then she hangs out with women that are going to be bad influences on her or influence her to do things that I think maybe are not right for her or out of character or what I think is out of character, I'm not even going to associate myself with a girl like that. If this is what she wants to do, these are the people that she wants to be with. I'm not going to be the guy that is going to try to police what a girl can and cannot do. I'm not her dad. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I,
Because because I know what it's like where it's like you're dating a girl and then she's got a whole bunch of friends that are telling her, "Oh, let's go out to this club." Let's go out to that club. Let's go to this party. Let's go to that party. And what are at these parties? Alcohol, drugs, and other guys. And then when they're going to these parties, they're doing themselves up, getting all done up. And what did I say to y'all before in the last quick take? I said women go to these places obviously to enjoy each other's company, but these are meeting places for men and women. So it's like if you want to
Exactly.
go out and meet somebody, that's the perfect place to do it. Now, why would I feel comfortable with my girl, looking all good and looking all done up and stuff like that? Even if I trust her, I don't want her in an environment where just mad guys, palling over my girl and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I would rather just be with a girl that is not the party girl or is not can be able to tell her friends no sometimes. Like, oh, let's go to this party. No, because she wants to stay at home. She wants to be with me. And then I just want to say this last part where he says, I'm not the right partner for you. If these things bring you to a place of happiness, I support it and there will be no hard feelings. These are my boundaries for romantic partnerships. He's not wrong for saying that. Granted, if that's what he actually meant, I don't know if he was being emotionally manipulative or anything like that, but that's the truth. If these are things that are going to bring you happiness, then by all means do it. I'm just not the right person to support those types of behaviors. If he really meant that. I mean, obviously there are some guys who are going to say things like that and not really mean it and still, go back and forth with the drama. Me, once I draw that line in the sand, that line is there and I'm not crossing it. You're not crossing it. I'm not crossing it. If that's what you want to do, stay over there. Stay over there. So I'm not going to completely vilify Jonah Hill, and I'm not going to just say, "Oh, Sarah Brady is all this and that," because I don't know enough of their relationship to be able to say that. I can only take the blank canvas, which is this story, and then project my thoughts and my feelings and my experiences on it, and then try to make sense of it, saying that way. But again, Jonah Hill doesn't seem like this crazy, abuser. To me, it was just two people that just weren't right for each other.
Yeah.
They had a relationship that failed. It didn't work. Jonah Hill moved on with his freaking life, and she just felt the need to put out this story to make herself feel better about what happened in the past. I don't know. I mean, to me, this is kind of ridiculous because these are adults who are, in their late 30s. So it's just mind blowing to me that there are people at that age that are still going through things like this.
No, you're right. And let me just say that because part of the reason why I don't, first of all, me and Natalie was having this conversation before, and when we talk about Kiki Palmer and everything, my mentality is different from most people. I am quick to break up and in a relationship because I don't feel like we're compatible, right? But the average person, when you're together for a year plus, a lot of people find it hard to just leave a relationship, right? Which is why when I read when he says I am the right I mean, I am not the right partner for you. My boundaries with you are based on the ways that these actions have hurt our trust. So something tells me that there's a little more going on. And this is the problem with showing text messages, right? Let's say I accuse you of a crime, right? Let's say I take a slither of a text message you sent me, right?
Just that
And
one piece, that
yeah,
one
just that
piece to
one
make it
piece.
seem a certain way. But that's what exactly. We don't have the whole conversation. We don't really know what was said over the phone because you know how you have an argument with your girl, y'all texting. Eventually, you guys gonna call each other.
Right, exactly. And that's the thing is I don't think what he said was bad. I mean, is it something I would do? No, but I'm a different person. Some people would are fine with their girl butt naked out in the street. Some women don't want their men pass out at past 11 o'clock at night. And that's the thing. For me, it's a hypocrisy, right? People are saying he's trying to be a misogynist, he's controlling, but we hear about this stuff all the time. How many times, we hear dudes talking about their girl don't want them hanging out with their boys. They don't want them out, past 10 o'clock. They got to be in the house. You telling a grown man he has to be in the house by 10 o'clock. How many married men we hear talking about, their wife want them home at a certain time. They can't be out on the weekend. Why is it that when a man wants to, show, express boundaries, he's a misogynist, but when women do it, I'm guaranteed she had him on a list of other stuff, had her own boundary list for him too. And I think, for me, it's not so much I am mad at her or him. I just find it one. I think it's I think it's disingenuous when you finally want to speak out to it, it's after he gets engaged to another woman and he just had a child. You feel now it is a burden that you have to. I just find that disingenuous because why
Right.
would you do that? Like if you felt
Mhm.
like someone was wronging you, why wait until that's like me saying, you get engaged, right, Dimitri? You have your wedding tomorrow, right? And I wait till day of the wedding to go on Instagram. Oh, yo, I heard Dimitri was cheating on this girl on his fiance with this girl over here. You start in trouble for what? I'm
She
not saying I'm wrong, but
right.
I think it's disingenuous when you do that.
Honestly, I really think it is spite because I was looking at her Instagram and I don't really see anything wrong with it, especially if she's a surfer. This is somebody who spends the majority of their time, let's say 40 hours a week. Their 9 to 5 is 40 hours a week by the water surfing. So, of course, she's going to be wearing bikinis and swimsuits all the time. She still has a picture of her and Jonah Hill, ironically enough, on like a red carpet, film premiere still on her Instagram, so it's still up. And you know what? She switched the caption to. So I guess it probably was something else before, but then it says misogynist hiding in plain sight. It's so definitely what she's doing now probably has to,
Mindful.
yeah, it has to, come from a bitterness of, okay, I was dating this guy and I don't know how long, how much time was between them breaking up and him being with somebody else and having a baby on the way, but she feels bitter about that. And obviously, I mean, that's that's just human. If you've been with somebody for years, then they break up, and then a couple of months later or a short amount of time passes, and then they're already running around with somebody else. If you really ever cared about that person, there's going to be a part of you that's going to be a little salty, saying about that. But at the end of the day, you're an adult. Like it is what it is. Like there's
Right.
there's nothing you can do about that. And I think again, when you can't control somebody, what you do is you try to control the way that people perceive that person. So what she's trying to do is she's using, this era now where it's like, feminism, misogyny,
Right.
patriarchy, and she's using that to change the way that people view Jonah Hill. And mind you, I'm only saying this objectively, not as a fan of Jonah Hill, because again, I don't sit around and watch, Jonah Hill movies in my freaking spare time. You know what I'm saying? So this has nothing to do with me, being a man or a fan of him. This is just how I'm looking at, the situation. I don't think she did anything wrong, with how she presents herself on her IG, because I've seen way worse. You know what I'm saying? And then again, if he didn't want somebody that was going to have an Instagram that is going to consist of, a woman showing skin, then you should have been with a nun or somebody like that. That again, that is just more conservative. That's it. So, they broke up, they went their separate ways. It didn't work out. Jonah Hill is happy. Now, remember what I said about TJ Holmes and Amy Robach? When two
Right.
people go their separate ways, it shouldn't be any hard feelings. You know why? Because now that person has a space where they can be happy and find, what can make them happy 100%. And then it leaves you to do the same. You know what I'm saying? So instead, like, all right, like she should only be talking about all of this for a very short amount of time. Or everybody's really only going to be talking about this for a very short amount of time. But this little time period now, this should be the last time she really talks about it. And she should be focusing on healing, like she said, and finding someone else who will treat her the way she deserves to be treated. And that should not involve calling him a misogynist or an emotional abuser and this, and that, because it's over. You know what I'm saying? It's like, somebody did you wrong in the past. Yeah, you might can talk about it, but no amount of talking about it is going to change what already took place. You should relish
Right.
in the fact that this emotional abuser, if he is that, is no longer there anymore. That's like, let's say, if the girl that accused Jonathan Majors of, domestic violence and all of that, let's say if right now, she was all on social media talking trash about him. It's like, yo, you should be happy that he's not abusing you anymore. If that was the truth, you know what I'm saying? I was like, all of a sudden you see him with Megan Good, and then now she want to come out saying all this type of stuff.
Exactly.
Like that's
That
just
that's what
like,
I'm saying.
yeah, it's like, well, did he really abuse you if he's taking up that much space in your time? It's like you should be freeing yourself from the shackles, the mental, emotional shackles of whatever that relationship came with. And then let the past be the past. You know what I'm saying? Like, because it's like, yo, it's just that relationship was what it was for the time period that it was. I'm pretty sure there was some good and then there was bad, but there was just more bad than there was good, and they went their separate ways. But I don't think everybody should be, talking, down on him and her neither. This is just relationships. You see what I'm saying? This is
Yeah.
what relationships are. I think because people are famous, it's like, oh my gosh, it has to be, amplified to the 10th freaking power. It's like what they're going through. There are hundreds, thousands of people going through the same thing right now. It's just there's not a spotlight on it. That does not make me a misogynist because there are certain things that Jonah Hill said that I agree with. That does not make me, all super liberal and women could do whatever they want because I don't see anything wrong with the way that Sarah Brady presents herself. She's a freaking surfer.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then me, again, I've lived enough life and I've had enough relationship experience to say, all right, when I meet somebody, when we're talking, I talk about the important things. That's what I really talk about. I really want to see where her mind is at on certain things because my relationship experiences color or shape the boundaries that I have today. What I like, what I don't like. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I've had enough relationships to know what I'm willing to tolerate and what I'm not willing to tolerate. And it doesn't take me all that long to figure out. So I'm not going to meet a woman, let's say today is July 10th. I'm not going to be just now talking about the important things in December. No, if I met her today, like the first few weeks we're spending time together, you know what I'm saying? That's when I'm going to be asking her all of this type of stuff. And she'll be doing the same. So that way I know if it's a right fit or not. It's like you don't go to Foot Locker, you try on a pair of shoes, and then you're wearing the shoes like, yo, damn, this is uncomfortable. And you're going to buy it anyway. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna try to buy the shoe that is the perfect fit for you, that you can move around in it. It's comfortable when you walk in it. So that way, 5 years down the line, you're not gonna have foot complications because you were wearing a shoe that wasn't the right fit. You're gonna get the right fit, the right soles, all of that stuff to your preferred specifications. So again, this is all on them because these little signs and stuff like that Sarah Brady is talking about now, where she says the misogyny and the emotional abuse and manipulation, all of that, Ben showed up. You decided to stay. Same thing with Jonah Hill. You seen she was all out and about. You decided to put up with it. You decided to put up with it. So everybody picking sides and all that stuff, think, man, think. I know when y'all see these tweets and stuff like that, you feel a certain type of way. It invokes emotion because that's what she's doing. She's appealing to the emotions of women that have gone through those things through no fault of their own. But at the same time, it's like, yo, you really have to think about the situation. Once you get to a certain age, in your 30s, this is like games. It's like relationship games. You see what I'm saying? Like that was like for your 20s. That was your 20s. You can't be in your 30s, you know what I'm saying, acting a fool in relationships. It's like you should already know what it is. That's why they say that. That's why they tell women, they say, spend your 20s dating so you can find out what you like, what you don't like. So by the time you settle down, you know what you want already. Versus it's like you're dating people still trying to figure it out. Like I don't want to, date somebody and then I'm, you feel what I'm saying? Like going through this type of shit. So no, I don't agree with Jonah. I don't agree with Sarah. I'm really just, again, like balanced in the middle. There's certain things I understand about her, certain things I understand about him, but they both won. You know why? Because they don't like each other. They're not in each other's lives anymore.
But let me just say this real quick. The only reason why I just disagree slightly is, people put on a front when you first meet somebody. How many people you go on a date, you in a relationship, and all of a sudden they change? It's because, when you meet somebody, they put on a front, and
it's that representative.
Yeah. I mean, and I know I always use Ted Bundy as an example, but I use him because he was a guy who used to charm his way into women's lives, and people didn't realize that dude was just lining up his next victim with this girl. But they looking at him like, oh, he's smooth, he's charming, he's hardworking, and he just sharpened up the knife behind their back. That's right. So that's one thing I just want to clarify real quick. And two, the only reason why I'm coming down on her, it's not because I'm not saying that women aren't victims. And like I said, I'm not saying he's innocent, completely innocent, because I don't know him. But what I'm saying is, I think I find it disingenuous. And when you use certain language, that's the issue. Because when she's calling him misogynistic, narcissistic abuser, emotionally abuser, you're invoking an emotion. And even if
it's to appeal to people.
Right. And that's the thing, because I'm reading some of these headlines, and it seems like everybody's agreeing with him. He's an abuser.
Because that's the society right. We're living in, and she knows what she's doing. And what's funny, she's still got pictures of Jonah Hill on her social media, and she's changing the captions on all of them. So she's got she's got a picture of them smiling at each other on the beach, surfing and stuff like that. And then she changed it to meh. Like, you know how people be like, meh, you know what I'm saying? She put meh
Yeah,
and then at Jonah Hill. There are still feelings there. She still got feelings for this man.
she's
You know
bitter.
what I'm
She's
saying?
bitter.
Most girls, especially like, most girls are not gonna feel good. You break up with her, and then you already got her replacement already lined up, and then on top of that, y'all got a kid. You know what I'm saying? On the way. Like, of course, she's gonna feel away. But I just don't think this is what I'm saying. There's always two sides to everything. There's
But
always two sides to everything. There's multiple dimensions to these situations. Just people probably have not gone through her Instagram like I have to just see all these pictures still up. Because most girls, y'all break up, she deleting all y'all pictures together. You know what I'm saying? She's not really gonna keep any reminders of y'all relationship. And as I go back, I mean, I kind of sort of see what he was talking about with like bikini, like provocative pictures, because she does, kind of look good, in a couple of them. But like I said, man, my opinion nonetheless is still the same, because she's not perfect, he's not perfect. It was a relationship, it was an experience that they both had, and it's over. And I think again, she's allowed to talk about it. It's like how, let's say if you have a relationship with like Jennifer Lopez or some shit, and you guys were together for 5 years. The shit didn't work out, right? And then after y'all break up, she wrote a book, okay? And then she talked about details of your relationship, whether it was good or bad or not. After it's done, let it go. So Sarah Brady, she's wholeheartedly entitled to talk about whatever she wants to talk about as it relates to their relationship. But after a
I,
while, she's gonna have to move on, and she's gonna have to let go. So them pictures that
but
she still got of them, she's gonna have to delete them in a minute. She's gonna have to delete them
but here's
because
the thing,
he moved on and he let her go. He's
right?
not coming back. He's not coming back.
But here's the thing for me. I don't mind her talking about it, but again, it's the language. It's like, let's say you get you get your next big role, right, tomorrow, right? And one of your ex-girlfriends come out and quote you an abuse and stuff. Yeah, you could let it go because it's a private relationship, but that's gonna change your career. People gonna look at you differently. And that's the thing. There's more people in play. It's not just him. It's not his agents, his movie career. It's his child. It's his fiance. They didn't ask for this. They just at home. His fiance trying to take care of the child, and she's seeing the father of her child getting slandered as an abuser online. That's the thing. It's
Right.
not so much you talking about it. It's when you use language to destroy somebody just because you're hurt.
To destroy
Again,
somebody's character. It's like
that's the only
character
thing. That's the
assassination.
Exactly. When you use those words, abuser, even if you felt that way, you saying that and not having the actual evidence. When we think about abuse, we think of like Ray Rice. We think about certain people who actually abuse people. She's talking about a simple text that even if you don't agree with his boundaries, that's not emotional abuse. Even if you want to say it is, but that's not what she's making him seem like this monster hiding behind the closed door that deserves to be exposed. But really, it just comes to me as someone who wanted the life that his fiance has. Engaged, have a family, settling down. And it didn't happen with her, so now she's lashing out. Again, you could talk about it. Just be careful of what you say about other people because it's going to have reaction, and that's the issue I'm only bringing up.
Yeah,
Is the
well,
way
that,
that she's playing
yeah,
him.
I mean, but that raises a conversation to society anyway, and how especially with men, it's always like this angry lynch mob mentality. Once the words misogyny and an abuser and all of this shit really comes into play, especially when people don't have all the facts of the situation. Because people are too emotionally invested. They get caught up in those words, and then they don't actually look at all aspects of the situation. Like I said, she's mad, she's angry. That's cool. That's part of life. That's part of relationships. And that's definitely part of all the breakups and stuff like that. But again, at some point, you're going to have to move on. But anyway, so what are your thoughts? Please be sure, again, as always, to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts. And I will see y'all on the next one. Peace.
Peace.